Man, this is a long intro. For Friday, November the 3rd, this is around midnight with the local boys. I'm Joe Carbonetta.
We are a minute in, and we've barely gotten out of the music.
Yeah, seriously. I got Chevelle Devine here, and we decided to go with a different... I shouldn't say we. I decided to try a different opening...
Did you do that on purpose? You just hit the wrong button.
No, I really did it on purpose, but I forgot how long the intro was on this particular piece of music. Kind of really ruined the effect.
Oh, wait, I should do that.
Anyway.
So now we were on a long intro, and we were sitting staring at an orange screen for a good minute and a half.
Really?
Yeah, but we're on now.
It's like,
I should probably adjust that.
We're professionals, people. Don't try this at home.
We are not professionals, and we are literally trying this at home.
No, that's not true. We are where we are in
live from Machu Picchu.
Live from Machu Picchu this week. That's right. Still in a box though, in the middle of nowhere. And Todd Fluker, he's got the day off. I got to tell you, people, Todd was so distraught. If by that you mean
violent diarrhea.
No, Todd was so distraught over the Dodgers losing the series that he actually had to take the night off because he's apparently got
delusional,
really bad diarrhea. Is that what you said?
Yeah. It's made him sick to his stomach. We'll go with that. He's got the blue flu.
Oh, I like that.
The blue blues flu.
Are we gonna trademark that, blue flu?
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm totally gonna do that. By the way, Kelly says nice haircut. I'm just reading.
Okay, thanks, Kelly. I'm not sure whether you mean that sincerely or if you're just making fun of me.
Yeah, you got the whole, Clooney action going on there.
Is that what it is, the Clooney action?
You're
okay. All right, I'll buy that.
George Clooney's skeleton. It's an inside joke. Never mind.
Okay.
It's this thing we do at work.
Oh, okay. Well, on that note, if you want to get in touch with us, you can always write us at mixified@gmail.com. And you can always reach us via Twitter. I am at Joe Carbonetta. Chevelle is at Chevelle Devine. And you can still write to Todd at Todd Fluker.
At home.
Yeah, he might even respond to you in between trips to the throne room. But we're also, of course, live.
If he calls, he's probably going to have violent poo or something.
Really? Did we really need to go there? You can give us a call, 951-356-6882, 951-356-6882. That's the number to call. And we'd love to talk to you tonight. And we hope you're having a good night. CJ, how has your Friday been?
Long. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I'm exhausted. But I'm hanging in there, not so bad. Everything's okay.
I like this really interesting two-shot we've got going tonight because there's only the two of us.
Yeah.
So you can look at us both.
It's so quiet not having that third voice, although it's usually silent, but just the presence of
that's
Todd.
Not really a voice. That's usually Todd playing some kind of computer game in the background.
Same difference. He's got to keep his stats up, man.
Anyway, once again, we are the local boys. This is around midnight. And,
it's around 5 past now.
Well, and it's around 5 past 10, but it's around midnight somewhere.
In Machu Picchu. What time is it in Machu Picchu?
I didn't know.
Seriously,
my clock. You really couldn't go a week without bringing up a time zone.
I try.
Well,
no,
Todd,
I really don't.
If Todd's watching the show tonight from home, I hope he appreciated that. So anyway, of course, going into this, like I said,
yeah,
Todd,
you guys got to get in on this chat with Kelly. She's giving it the business.
Todd, what is Kelly saying?
No, she's just confirming that he is quite sick.
Oh, I see. With the blue flu.
The Todd.
Yeah.
The blue blues. Flu.
Wow. Interesting. So the Dodgers, of course, lost, and you and I were having this discussion prior to going on to the show this evening. And I'm gonna go out and say, for the record, this was under very suspicious circumstances. It was a heck of a series. They kind of went tit for tat. Each team would win a game. You'd have like the Dodgers win the first game, the Astros won the second game. Actually, Astros won the third game. The Dodgers came back, and so it was really kind of going back and forth for a while, and was given us a really good show.
Really good show.
But that
Really
Game
good
7,
show.
that Game 7 just haunts me. How is it that with everything on the line, it's a make or break game. I mean, we're tied at 3 apiece, and whoever wins Game 7 is going to walk away with the series. Knowing that there's nothing left in the season, how is it you don't start with your ace pitcher and make sure the other team doesn't score a run?
They were saving them for later in the game, and by that I mean they were basically giving Houston the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna call it what it is. It looks to me like they were really trying to let them have it. Maybe it was because, and we talked about this on the last show, that this is only the second time that the Astros have ever made it to the series, and the Dodgers, Los Angeles Dodgers, have won more series than the Astros have ever played in. On top of that, you've got all the hurricane damage that they had down there in Texas.
Yeah, I've been put off by organized sports for a very, very long time. I have not been a fan. I stopped watching. Part of it is because, and I think I said this last time, like none of them are legal. Not legal. That's debatable. None of them are local. It's like when you vote, like even when you go like high school sports, local college sports, those people actually live in that community. They're from that community. Well, maybe not with college anymore because now they're recruiting people from all over the place too. But at your schools, they're from the area. These are people you can walk and see, and you get that whole hometown thing. I don't get that with professional sports because the players that are on this Dodgers roster right now, how many of them are actually going to be on the roster next year?
Well, and the reality is they're so well insulated to begin with. I mean, when you're making that kind of money, nobody can get near you. It's not like the old days where you could go down and ask for an autograph. You can't even get near these people without getting ejected from the stadium.
Yeah, security was something else, man. Whoosh, man. I'm saying whoosh here. It was good security.
But I mean, what do you imagine the chances are that the whole thing is actually rigged?
I am thoroughly convinced that all professional sports are rigged. Thoroughly convinced. I felt this way for a long time. There is an interesting track record of whenever there is some kind of tragedy, the team from that area or a team that's got a player from that area or something like that becomes the center story, and it's like they're intentionally it's entertainment. We got to call it what it is. Even the NFL, they call themselves entertainment, and I think a lot of people take it a lot more seriously than they need to.
Okay, well,
sports entertainment.
Just in the interest of fairness, I'm going to flip the script for a second and play the devil's advocate. Is it possible that because the Astros are had such a deficit when it comes to World Series appearances that maybe they just wanted it more than the Dodgers?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess that's possible, but for them to go, like you said, it was so strong with the back and forth, and there were a couple of games. I think was it Game 4 where the Astros had like that 3-run thing that kind of put them on top. It was the one where they went like 5 hours. I think that was Game 4, and the Astros won that one. It was the same type of situation, but it seemed all too good. Like everybody got their little shine on, I don't like organized sports. I just can't get into it. Like right now, you've got all these people who want to protest like football and all this other stuff. I'm like, meh.
I find it interesting that Jared is saying that the World Series is an inside job, and then starts talking about George Bush. I'm not sure if you're not reading the chat on the show, you gotta read that
the
too.
World Series. George Bush is from Texas. Yeah, they might be onto something there. Might be onto something.
He's suggesting that George Bush somehow had something to do with 9/11 and the fact that the World Series went to the Astros.
Yeah, he may be. I can't say that's not the case.
Well, going back to the game, the Game 7. Not only did they not start with their ace pitcher, which again I don't understand.
So which one is the ace?
Kershaw. They didn't open up with. I mean, if I was the manager,
well, he might have been tired too.
No, he hadn't. They didn't really pitch him. They started warming him up in the bullpen, Game 6, but never really used him. And in fact, they had even noted at the end of Game 6 that Kershaw left the stadium right afterward. and everybody speculated he was going home to get a really good night's sleep because he was going to be starting Game 7. And, I mean, that would have been the logical assumption, in my opinion. If I was the manager, I would have started with my ace pitcher, and I would have let that guy pitch until, I mean, he couldn't throw a straight ball anymore.
Well, which game was it when I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was Kershaw, but he threw the ball, and it bounced off the ground and went all crazy. And he threw true wild. I think the guy with the S, I think his name. I think he was.
The guy with the S?
His name begins with an S.
On which team are we talking about here?
I don't even remember. I watched the series. Like I said, I'm not a fan.
You?
I think I watched 3 of the games. I listened to one of the games. I listened to game 1.
Okay.
And, yeah, I don't remember. And then I watched 3 of the games because, TV was on. Had to watch something. Star Trek reruns weren't coming on for another couple of hours, so figured I'd watch that. And it was a good series. Like you said, it was a good series. I'm really not even a baseball fan, but it was a good series.
All right, Jared is also saying that NASA is somehow involved in this. Wow, these guys have greater conspiracy theories. These guys have greater conspiracy theories than you do. You might be out conspiracied tonight, CJ.
I don't know. I think it's really convenient because the same thing happens every time there's a tragedy. The New Orleans Saints, after Katrina, they won the Super Bowl. After 9/11, that's when the Patriots went on their domination streak. Every single time.
So you're saying that it's more like feel-good TV than an actual sporting event anymore?
Absolutely. And I don't think they really try to hide it. They don't come right out and say it. They're like the WWF was like 20 years ago, where you like it might be real, but they weren't saying it.
Did
wasn't
anybody
real.
ever believe for 1 minute that the WWF was real?
Come on, man. You didn't think the Camel Clutch was like really giving them the business?
No, I never thought that was real.
You didn't think Sergeant Slaughter was legit?
No, not at all.
Bro, come on.
The whole thing with them cracking chairs over each other's heads and that kind of stuff.
That was a little bit carried away.
I never believed for a second that was real.
It is real-ish, right?
Yeah. Okay. So
it could be real. So yeah, I think it's rigged.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to have to go on record as saying I kind of agree with you because there were so many bad calls, at least on the part of the Dodgers. I mean, on paper, the Dodgers had the superior lineup. They had the stronger bats. They had the more experienced pitching staff. Even the odds suggested that I think Dodgers were 11-1 going to take the series.
But that's what makes a beautiful story. You've got this team that pulls it all together after tragedy strikes at home, and against all of the odds, they've come out on top.
So yeah, going back to the games,
I didn't mention this last week, but I actually expected it was going to go the full 7 because I think they wanted to milk this story for as much as they could. Like every time they went to a break, they had the little T-Mobile, we're going to give money to the Hurricane people for every home run. So they're like letting them hit home runs all day long just so they can give more money to these hurricane victims. Come on, bro.
Jared came back again and said something. He said there was the time that the Tokyo Nippon professional team won the World Series after the Fukushima disaster.
Yeah.
This is some funny stuff going on here. Apparently there are definitely those who would probably agree with the conspiracy.
Well, Jared is like a huge baseball fan.
But was he a Dodger fan or is he an Astro fan? I'm not really sure which way he's going on this. But see, going back to Game 7 again,
he loves professional sports.
They not only did they not open up with Kershaw, and I mean just pitch him till his arm fell off. They
God bless America. Pitch him till his arm fell off.
Are you done undermining me yet? They bring in one of the B pitching staff, and after he intentionally, well, not intentionally, but manages to walk a couple of players and starts to put points on the board at the end of inning 1. Because they were already up 2-0 at the end of the first inning. Then they brought him back for inning 2 to see how much more damage he could do. They didn't try stopping the bleeding until the 3rd inning, and by that point, the damage was already done. We were down 5-zip.
They got that one. They got one run.
We finally got one run in the 7th.
On accident.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that was just a feel-good so that the Dodgers weren't completely shut out of Game 7.
I think Game 6, there was that one, I forget who it was. It was who was at bat, and he It was a pretty amazing hit, and the commentators did all this. Oh my gosh, it's amazing hitting versus amazing pitching. But there's one where he pitched a slider, and it dropped down into the right. Dude kind of went in and dug it out. Boom! It was in Houston, and he hit it a home run. It was pretty. I thought that was cool. I'm sorry, just thought that was cool. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So yeah, it's fun to watch. I just don't believe it's real.
Interesting. Okay, so basically the consensus here is that this was actually rigged. It was preordained that the Astros were going to take it, and you're saying they always intended to play all 7 games before the Astros were going to walk away with it.
I expected that. I fully expected that. They didn't want to destroy the Dodger momentum because there was a lot of momentum behind the Dodgers.
Not to mention there was probably a whole lot of money for the city of LA to make by
for
filling the
everybody
stadiums.
For everybody to make money in Houston and in LA. I mean, they filled both stadiums even when the teams did you see the shot of this what do they call it, the Minute Maid when Game 7 they show how the stadium's all full because they showed on the screens in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane how many people get packed into these things, and all the food and all that other stuff they're buying is ridiculous. It's good money.
All right. So, if anybody else has another opinion, by all means, join us on the chat or give us a call at 951-356-6882.
So, based on this knowledge, who's going to win the Super Bowl? I guess we have to see what disaster happens.
Yeah.
Because if, North Korea gets involved, we might have, a Korean team come through or something.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess that's the thing. If North Korea actually fires a missile and blows up part of the West Coast, then I suppose a West Coast team will have to win.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, you think so?
Does Hawaii have a team? Hawaii needs to get a franchise ASAP.
They're not aiming at Hawaii. They're aiming at California.
But they can hit Hawaii easy. Or Alaska, because it's practically in Russia's backyard.
And what would be the purpose of hitting Hawaii?
I don't know.
Uh-oh, I think we're actually getting a telephone call here. Go.
What's up with that disco action you got going on there?
Go figure. Let's see who we've got on the air this evening.
If I hear a toilet flushing, I'm going to be...
Hello, caller, are you there? Hello? Caller?
I think you broke your technology. Did you plug the thing in?
Yeah, it's plugged in.
Did you push the mute button?
Caller,
you do that every time.
Are you there, caller?
Stop hitting the mute buttons.
This is the caller.
All right, caller.
Stop hitting the mute button, Joe.
It's Todd.
Is this Anastasia Bibberknuckle?
What?
I forgot the name.
This is Anastasia Bieberknuckles, brother.
Amber Knuckle Bieberbatch.
Sounds getting too rough.
What's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're good. How are you
How
doing,
are you doing?
Todd?
You soldiering on without me? That's good. That's what I was wanting, Jeff.
Why does it sound like he's dying over there?
I don't know, man.
You guys keep going.
The light's getting
Keep
dimmer.
the train rolling.
I think Todd's going to win the Super Bowl, man.
You gotta bring the cup back to LA.
Oh, we're going to get an Emmy for this one.
Helen says, "Hey, Todd." I don't know who Helen is, but Helen says, "Hey, Todd." Todd's
All right.
getting more respect than the rest of us, and he's not even here.
Yeah.
So Todd,
I need your thoughts and prayers, guys. Thoughts and prayers.
Todd, are you going to make it with the Dodgers having lost the series? I mean, are you going to survive? You going to pull through, buddy?
I think that was the nail in my coffin.
So, do you believe that the professional sports is rigged? Do you think that they had established who was going to win before the series even began?
No, that's insane.
What? That is not insane. That's
Todd is
perfectly
clearly
legitimate.
delirious now.
Whoever said that was insane.
I don't know that I can argue that.
They're a crazy person, and they should not be allowed to speak to other humans.
Hey, I'm still going to go out and openly say that it's very suspicious the way the Dodgers played such poorly managed ball for at least Game 7, but actually there were questionable decisions made on several accounts, on several days, in several different games of this series.
Hey, you
Like
leave
that
Puig's
bunt?
balls out of this.
I don't know what the deal was with that bunt that cost us a couple of runs.
Was that Game 7?
Yeah, then there was the third base coach sitting there not giving an arm sign, telling him to finish running in, and that whole thing about, I thought you said no, when he was saying go, go, go. Really?
Yeah.
Even if I'm not there, Joe's stepping on my jokes.
I'm sorry, there was
Something's
a
never
joke
changed.
there?
I think Joe is the one who's sick about this whole Dodger thing.
I'm disgusted. I am absolutely disgusted. You see, I'm not wearing my Dodger hat this Friday night.
Where's your blue spirit, man?
It's gotten very
burned it.
blue. Yeah.
I don't know, man. You know Joe. He's probably just hermetically sealed it for the next time around.
What's your point?
I'm just saying.
All right.
I'm just saying. Okay, there's like this really weird freeze of me on Facebook right now with my lips all pooched out. It's like I'm doing the duck face into the microphone.
Okay.
That's
Stop
weird.
looking at yourself. We're doing a show here. So, Todd, are you sticking around with us for the second segment? Because it's about time for us to take a break. But are you staying with us, or
that's tacky? Move that out the way,
Todd.
I mean, we'll see if I can hang on that long. I don't know.
All right. Well, that's fair enough. We definitely do have to take a break. Again, this is Around Midnight with the local boys, and we even have Todd on the line, with his blue flu and everything, and apparently he's really just barely clinging to life. So if you all want to send your well wishes to Todd, why don't you write to us right now and on the chat, or send him a get well card at mixify@gmail.com, or even tweet him at Todd Fluker.
You know what? What would really help my spirits?
What?
Is if people subscribe to the Mixify YouTube channel.
Good one. I like that.
Do it.
You know what?
Do it for Todd.
We
do it for
now.
Todd.
What we need to do is set up one of those GoFundMe accounts so that we can buy Todd a big balloon.
Yeah.
A get well balloon.
That way we could just buy some of those Korean subscribers. Over there you can just buy people and they subscribe to your crap and, give you likes.
You're not supposed to say it out loud, Todd.
Yeah, Todd. All right. Thanks for blowing that for us. We'll be back right after this here on Around Midnight. This is Around Midnight for Friday, November 3rd, and we are the local boys. I'm Joe Carbonetta. I've got Chevelle Devine sitting here, kind of filling in for Todd Fluker, but we do have Todd Fluker on the line. Hey, Todd, are you still there with us?
Who's filling in for what?
Yeah, he makes the stuff as he goes along. Do you hold your breath when you're doing the intros? You sound like you're holding your breath.
Do I sound like? How could I be holding my breath? There
I don't
would
know.
not be
You've
any
got this
sound coming
very
out of my
interesting
mouth.
Announcer voice. It sounds like you're trying not to breathe. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one that notices that.
I think you are even more delirious than our friend Todd.
There's a strong possibility that is also true. Yes.
Okay. All right. So Chevelle's lost it, Todd. And how are you doing? By the way, if at some point you have to run to the bathroom, we'll understand. You can just kind of hang up the phone and we'll know.
He's probably on the throne as we speak.
Yeah, I'm in the. No, I'm not. But I'll make sure it'll. I'll mute it if I do. Don't worry about it.
Okay. We certainly
leave
appreciate that.
We should revisit that show.
Save you
Let's see,
from the brunt of it.
If he had done this like via Hangouts, we could see if he actually crumples or folds.
No, I don't actually want to see that, and I don't think Todd wants everybody to know. As a matter of fact, okay.
I think tutorials are big on YouTube, so we should do that.
So somebody says you're using a bucket, Todd. Is that the case? Kelly tells us you're using a bucket.
Sometimes you got it coming out of both ends.
Oh.
You had to pursue that, Joe. You had to pursue that.
Okay. Anyway, so moving on. This is going to be a subject that I think is near and dear to Chevelle's heart because he loves to rail on such things. It was released, or the information was publicized, I should say, or a big much ado was made out of a statistic that has recently been released that suggests that there is an increase in gun-related deaths in the last year, in 2016. It was up substantially from years before, where there had previously been no noticeable increase in gun-related deaths. But as it turns out, for 2016, there were about 11,000 gun-related deaths.
Oh, my.
Which is an increase.
Oh, man.
CJ, what do you think about that in general?
I think we should repossess all guns on the planet immediately to save those 11,000 lives.
I know we were having this conversation, and Todd, it's good that we have you on the line, because you had stated that you were actually for more gun control. Are you still favoring that line of thinking?
Something has to be done.
I
just don't feel that way.
Okay.
What? So you really think the current system is fine as is?
Yes.
Keep on trucking.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you tell the people whose children got killed in elementary school shootings or whatever the hell's going on these days?
Okay.
How the hell can you look people like that in the face and tell them, hey, people got to have their guns?
Well,
let me respond to that. Hey, people got to have their guns.
Oh, my God. You cannot truly believe that. That is...
Look, man, I'm
choking on my own rage here.
Listen. Here's the thing, man. It sounds crass, it sounds cold, it sounds heartless. I get that.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that I'm a cold, crass, and heartless person. Here's the reality, though. This Constitution has nothing to do with how people feel or anything like that. The problem isn't that we have guns. The problem is that people are not being trained properly and that they're not being used properly. But that doesn't mean you go in and you take them all.
All right, Todd.
Just don't do it.
I'm going to, since you're the only one that's actually on the opposite side of this fence right now.
There's the part Chevelle said that is wrong. Nobody's saying we're going to go in and gank everyone's guns.
Not
we're not
yet.
Saying you can't have a gun.
Bro, if I want a grenade launcher, I should be able to have a grenade
but
launcher.
See, Todd, I don't want to be reduced to having a gun that only can have one bullet in it, and that's it. Well, the military is loading up with fully automatic weapons, and the police are arming themselves with fully automatic assault rifles, and I get a single shooter. That's not... But I want to ask you a question, Todd. Again, since you're the only one on the other side of the fence right now, you're saying that this latest statistic of 11,000 deaths, this outrages you? Is that a fair characterization?
No, I mean, I can't say I pay attention to these things that closely, that I'm familiar with the numbers being up or down. I'd say, comparing these numbers to what other countries have, other countries that still have guns, but, we're not talking about Sweden where they don't have any guns. You're talking about other countries like Japan where they do have guns, but very strict gun control.
Listen, you cannot draw that same parallel. You cannot draw that parallel. It is a false parallel.
By the way, Kelly says that she does not want Chevelle to have a grenade launcher.
Kelly is a communist. Look. You can't draw that parallel. I see. I get where people are coming from. I understand when you look at other countries, they don't have the same type of gun violence.
Todd, can you stop mixing yourself drinks over there?
I told you he was in the bathroom.
What are you like making a martini or something? Can you stop that?
He's outraged. He's balling his fist and grinding his teeth.
He's trying to give you the cancer.
Sorry, skin on the rocks.
Oh,
don't worry about it.
Here's the thing. Everybody always wants to compare America to Europe, America to Canada, America to Japan in this particular case. You just can't do it. Those are not like America. America is a very unique creature.
Everybody says that America has no culture, but that's, we have no history, but that's not true. See, the Egyptians have their pyramids, and so do the Mayans, and, the Europeans have whatever the Europeans have. We have guns. We have the Old West. That's our history. That's our culture.
I wouldn't even go that far. But there's a... the problem.
Oh, he's taking a breath. This is interesting.
I'm trying to find the right words for this because
he's
this
actually
is a very,
trying to collect his thoughts.
very
I'm frightened
delicate
now.
situation.
Oh, there's nothing delicate about it. You're like
But
a bull in the china shop.
Here's the bottom line. And until people are willing to actually accept this baseline premise, anybody who doesn't accept this baseline premise, automatically you can't even continue to have the conversation, because I don't want to hear any more comparisons to any other country. There is no other country on the planet like America, and people from any other country on the planet that have come to America will tell you that. That's why they come to America.
All right, so I want to throw another statistic at you, Todd, because I find this very interesting. People, of course, are supposed to be outraged. That's why this number is being bandied about now, that there were 11,000 gun-related deaths last year, which is a sudden spike. But in that same period of time, 2016, there were over 34,000 deaths attributed to vehicle accidents, vehicle-related deaths. 34,000. All right, that's that's more than 3 times the amount of people killed by guns were killed by cars. And yet I don't hear anybody getting outraged over that.
Oh, you want to take my car?
I think
I turn on the TV.
you're gonna real fast.
I turn on the TV and we see commercials.
Just goes,
and I don't want to single anybody out. Wait, let me finish.
Yeah.
I don't want to single anybody out, but I will. Ford has been running these advertisements for its latest incarnation of the Mustang. 600 horsepower off the showroom floor. Some 18-year-old kid gets a hold of this thing and then drag races a friend, wraps the car around a tree, and if he doesn't kill himself and all 4 of his passengers, he takes out the innocent family of 4 coming home from Disneyland. And yet nobody's outraged at the auto manufacturers, and there's no amendment that says you have to have the right to drive.
Okay. But here's the thing. There is definitely a push to get people out of their cars.
That's only in California.
That's
only in
true.
California.
Well, no, I think it's
and
the case
it has
in
nothing
a
to
lot
do
of
with
the larger
vehicle safety or the number of deaths related to cars. It's all about trying to make more space and figure out a way to get rid of gasoline.
Yeah, well.
It has nothing to do with safety.
Yeah. I just wish people would frame this conversation honestly.
So,
number one, the very first thing you're going to have to do is come to me and tell me you trust our government always.
Let me even further this argument that I was just making about the whole 34,000
bag is really starting to irritate
deaths.
me.
Okay, we just had another unfortunate terrorist
Can you hear
attack.
it if I do that?
No. We just had another unfortunate terrorist attack that took place in New York.
Yeah.
And what happened was that the
You can leave
terrorist
it. Just don't even worry
sat
about
there
it.
and got a hold of a car
Actually move
and
it.
used the vehicle to mow
just kidding.
down
Leave
a
it.
bunch of innocent pedestrians riding their bicycles and walking in the bike lane.
Okay, and
Where's the outrage
in a country
for automobiles?
In a country that does have very strict gun control, the automobile has been the primary tool. In England, how many times have we heard of a car plowing through people? Same thing happened in France. I think it happened in Germany or Amsterdam. This is a recurring theme. It's happened in the U.S. at least 2 or 3 times in the last couple of years, which is about the same frequency as some of these mass shootings. I mean, the mass shootings.
Yeah.
So when you talk about a terrorist act or something like that,
that last one you were talking about was a combo, right? That guy used a rented U-Haul,
and the guy jumped out with a
ran down
paintball gun and a pellet
and then
gun.
Popped out. Hey, chill! I'm talking. Give me a second.
all right.
Yeah, and they popped out and started popping off rounds as well. So you can't really chalk that up to cars versus guns because that's a combo.
Okay,
No,
but
I can't.
what is the
because
common
how many
denominator
people
in
got
that?
killed by the guns he was running around with, the paintball gun and the pellet gun? How many people died that way? But he killed a lot of people with that car.
I would say the most
I think
heinous
you'll be
use of
seeing
guns.
changes to the rental policy of Home Depot before you're going to see gun control.
Oh, I totally agree.
You know,
This isn't the first time that
I
Home
can't do it.
Depot's
I
vehicles
cannot-
have been used for this, and apparently they're in the ISIS playbook. So if I was Home Depot, I'd be rethinking renting.
But let's all think back
large
to junior
vehicles.
high. How many of us did not want to go and have a look at the Anarchist Cookbook?
Oh,
Come on.
I still have a copy of the Poor Man's James
So,
Bond.
I mean,
what's
we
what's
can't
your
be
point?
surprised. We cannot be surprised.
I'm not an insane person.
You don't have to be an
that.
insane person.
Wait. How many of these violent video games do you play where you just sit there shooting
here it
first-person
comes.
shooters? How many of those do you play?
Here it comes.
Oh,
All of them
and
is the
I
right
want to
answer.
murder you right now.
And then teabag
Why,
you.
Todd, are you getting upset?
I feel it's good being on the phone. I feel emboldened. I'm going to stand up to Chevelle.
So Kelly is saying that she believes that the ratio of people owning cars to the people owning guns makes the amount seem lower.
The thing that people don't want to do, first off, you've got to do an apples to apples comparison. And the common denominator in any of these situations where you're talking about gun violence, car violence, or whatever kind of violence, is you have a person who is raged. Now, granted, whatever the tool or weapon is going to enhance the amount of violence they can do. But that does not change that you're passing a law is not going to prevent that. What law can you possibly pass that would have stopped that person from renting that truck and plowing through those people? What law could you possibly pass that would have prevented Las Vegas?
Well, according to Todd, apparently eliminating all legally owned firearms would have
here's
saved us from that.
Here's the one thing that I will
horrific
say.
Tragedy.
First off, we have to understand what the Second Amendment says. It says it's the right to bear arms against your government. Period. That's it. I'm not standing on anything else except that. And my last thing is going to be this: we are talking about the same government that sold guns to militias in Mexico as part of a drug deal. And they're telling me that I can't defend myself when those same people are coming into my community with their drugs and the guns we sold them to take over my neighborhood?
Well, to be fair,
I'm supposed to trust that government?
The anti-gun movement is largely spurred on by special interest groups that want to do away with everybody's right to own a weapon.
It's never going to happen.
I don't think that the political insiders on their own would have come up with this idea that we need to start liberating everybody's weapons.
Absolutely. It's definitely the political insiders because it's only the politicians who want to disarm the population. It's only the politicians.
Really? And all those protesters standing out there saying we need to, pass more stricter gun control laws, they don't actually exist?
Yeah, they exist, but it's being bandied by the politicians because if it was something that many people felt that passionately about, it would have passed a long time ago. The bottom line is most Americans still stand on the Second Amendment. Most Americans still stand on that. And if you don't want it, then
these
call
days,
for the vote
a lot of them
today.
are starting to kneel, but anyway.
Call for the... Well, there's that. Don't get me started on that.
I'm going to try and forget you said that.
I genuinely, wholeheartedly, as a person who has had friends and family on both sides of the gun, as victims and as perpetrators, I understand. I need people to understand that I understand the danger and the reality of gun violence. I get it. But that's not what the Second Amendment is about. But having the Second Amendment would help me to protect myself from those violent people as well as the government it was designed to protect us from. People just don't, I don't know what kind of utopia and fantasy world you live in.
For the problems we're facing with these issues, what can be done?
I don't think people are serious about dealing with these issues. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep putting band-aids on.
Exactly. They're not.
There's one conversation
that's the main problem.
No, but you can't go and fix problem C because problem A is a problem. You got to address problem A. And the number one problem in America right now is not gun control. The number one problem in America right now is race relations, and that's a conversation nobody is really serious about having. We all like to have our slogans, our catchphrases. Everybody wants to be woke, but nobody's having legitimate conversations about it.
Speaking of race relations and conspiracy theories, which continue to abound on the chat, I'm noticing, did you happen to hear the news reports that have been released which chronicle what the Russians were actually attempting to do in undermining our elections?
Nope.
And
Tell me.
that several of their primary plans were to incite race relation issues.
We're doing a good job of that ourselves.
Well, that's probably true. But apparently they spent a lot of time trying to get the black community against the white community and the white community against the black community, as to basically divide and conquer, if you will, to get everybody so caught up in political end fighting that our entire political system would just become a shambles.
Yeah,
which I guess...
I thought they were just trying to get woke.
Yeah, nope.
Okay.
Ain't nobody woke, man. Just sleepwalking. That's all.
That's what I heard somebody say on a podcast.
Oh, yeah?
Really?
I think I said that.
Yeah, that was Chevelle. You just said that.
Did I say that last week? I think I said that.
Oh.
I don't know.
Trying to get woke.
Yeah.
That's a little far afield of the gun control issue that we started out discussing, but
this is something we should probably tackle another time. But I'm serious about the number one problem in America being race relations. It's permeated every aspect of everybody's lives, whether they want to see it or not. It's just the reality. Until we have that conversation honestly, I don't think we can have an honest conversation about gun control.
I'm not sure why you are convinced that is the precursor to gun control.
It's the precursor to honesty. It's the precursor to building trust in the government we're supposed to be trusting to protect us. Because if you go to anybody in the community that I'm a part of, African American males, we have a very different experience. You take me and you take somebody else from pretty much any other ethnic group and you put them in the same car, have them driving down the same street and have them getting pulled over by a police officer, you're going to get two different outcomes.
Okay.
There's two different perceptions that exist.
So if I read you correctly, what you're basically saying is you don't want to give up your gun because you don't trust anybody, starting with the government and working your way down.
I wouldn't say I don't trust anybody. I don't trust the government to defend me the same way they would defend a Kardashian.
Well,
they're not going to do it.
From that standpoint, we're all screwed.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Also,
right. And the
they're
Kardashians
earners.
can hire people to go out and catch guns. In fact, that's one of the things that a lot of these celebrities do, because a lot of them have very serious and legitimate concerns about violence being perpetrated against them, especially in the whole hip-hop culture where violence is a big part of it. But a lot of these artists won't carry guns. That's why they have entourages and bodyguards. They have all of those people carrying all of the weapons and all of the drugs, even though they themselves
that way, if somebody gets off, they don't go to jail.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
and politicians have a secret service. So if I can get my own personal secret service, cool. I won't carry a gun. But I just want the same rights they have. That's all I want.
Huh.
They got better health care. They got better security.
What would you call your
they got
secret
better
service?
homes. My homies.
Okay.
I don't have a fancy
all
name
right,
for
all
them
right.
yet.
Todd, any parting comments on this one before we go back to the break?
Aside from how wrong you are?
Have you been made to see the late night,
listen,
Todd?
Val. This is why people don't call our show. Shell don't listen.
Speaking of which, you can give us a call at 951-356-6882. That's 951-356-6882. Again, join us on the chat. That seems to have slowed down for the moment. I guess they ran out of conspiracy theories at the moment. I'm not sure.
I think I made everybody mad.
Is that what it is? They changed the channel? And you can
the internet. Nobody changes the channel.
If you want to send hate mail, send it directly on the Twitter to Chevelle at Chevelle Divine.
Shoot me an email.
You said it this time. I didn't. All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more right after this on Around Midnight. You know, I forgot to mention this after the last break, but Malibu Film Festival's films, charity events, and special programs continue to evolve in support of the arts in your community. And you can help by becoming a sponsor of the Malibu Film Festival. You can check them out, and you can donate at MalibuFilmFestival.com/donate. That's MalibuFilmFestival.com/donate. All right, we're back again. This is Around Midnight for Friday, November the 3rd. 3 days in. And didn't you just make mention, CJ, after at the beginning of the show that it's right about this time now that we're coming up on 1 year of the Trump presidency?
A year ago today, we elected President Trump. Well, not today. A year ago this week-ish.
By the way, that's Chevelle Divine. I'm Joe Carbonetta, and we had Todd Fluker on the line. Todd, are you still with us?
Unfortunately.
Well, gee, Todd, if you put it like that, I guess you could always hang up on us.
Well, I was thinking about it, because Chevelle don't listen.
I do listen. I just ignore.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I just haven't heard an argument.
Somehow.
I haven't heard an argument that does not come from a position of emotion, and you can't make decisions like that based on emotion. You got to really have some kind of facts or something like that, backed by honesty. Above all else, I just want people to have an honest conversation, and they won't do it. I don't like people coming in and saying, "Oh, 900 children, blah blah blah." You didn't care about those 900 children. There's people up in Chicago still dying every day in murders, but you're not hearing that on the news. It's not until somebody gets plowed in middle America somewhere that somebody cares. But anyway, whatever.
Wow, Chevelle...
Yeah, I don't personally care about the children, but you got to think if.
See, Todd agrees with me.
Wow,
all right, next topic.
Did you just really say
I'm going to try and forget you said that.
that you just don't care about the children? Is that what you just said?
Todd, I believe the children are our future.
Oh,
Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
No, that's what I'm saying, Chevelle.
Give them a sense of
You're
pride.
the opposite. You're saying you hate children. And you want them all to die in gun violence. That's what I heard.
Oh, good grief. It sounds so harsh when you say it that way.
Oh, it does. Huh. This is
There's
weird.
one thing I've learned
When
in
somebody-
many years of experience is that you cannot be too careful with your gun.
That was a long... That is like the only time you could ever use that sound bite, Joe.
Seriously?
There's no other context that
That was
possibly
the
would have worked.
most appropriate drop.
I'm glad you appreciate that tonight. All right. Well, speaking of drops, it is now time for
Trump in the news.
This was something that I found amusing. Aside from the fact that it has now been exactly 1 year.
Not exactly.
Well, almost exactly
Dang
1 year. Dang near 1 year of the Trump presidency. Did you guys catch this? That last evening, about 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Donald Trump's Twitter account disappeared from the site for about 11 minutes. It was actually shut down.
I did not hear that until you mentioned it.
What did he do?
Well,
How did he let people know about his, presidential mandates?
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. So apparently, initially, Twitter became aware of this, but they didn't immediately respond to any requests for comment, and their initial report was that it was some kind of human error. But later on,
So they were basically saying Trump's an idiot and deleted his own account?
yeah, I guess they were suggesting that somebody in the Trump campaign or Trump administration somehow made a mistake and inadvertently deleted his account. But it was later revealed. Go ahead.
Yeah, from that I heard somebody at Twitter actually went in and deleted his account.
Yeah, it's later been revealed that apparently a rogue, they're calling it a quote-unquote rogue employee who was on his last day of the job, just decided to delete Trump's account.
Wow.
Nice.
That dude's going to get audited for the rest of his life.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think about that. I mean,
It's people like him that make me
That
want
guy's
gun
gonna
control.
get free drinks for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
he
he's
could
gonna get
tell people he was that guy. Oh my
yeah, I'm the
God.
guy that deleted Trump's
Oh,
Twitter
maybe
account.
I should do that.
He's a folk hero.
Huh. Okay. Well, so we know that you're no fan of Trump, and admittedly, I don't think he's the greatest president that we've ever had.
I don't think he's the worst.
I'm wondering how Chevelle feels about this because he is chump.
Okay. I think he needs to lay off the Twitter. Frankly, I think a lot of people need to lay off of Twitter. This goes all the way back to when Facebook first started gaining ground, and people were like, "I ate a cheeseburger today." Like, what? I don't care. Why are you telling me this?
Wait.
And now, it's an entire culture with
You
food,
make those
social
kind of
media.
posts all the time on
If
your
it's
Facebook
like a dish
account.
that I prepare and I put my lifeblood into it, I would do it.
Actually,
But
the
if
king
you're
of,
just
of
tweeting
putting
because
pictures
you
of
know
their
you
meals
just-
on is
You
Todd.
got-
Todd does
I'm
that
not
a lot.
eating that.
He has some pretty legit meals on there.
Todd puts a lot of pictures of his food on the
Yeah,
Facebook.
that one with the chili with the egg on it made me hungry, Todd.
Yeah.
That looked pretty legit, man.
Yeah, otherwise it's just going to be pictures of my baby and my dinner. So I think people get tired of looking at my baby.
Another appropriate one. Yeah. So, yeah, the guy needs to stay off Twitter. I don't understand how somebody's got to be was thinking about this earlier.
I'm waiting to see where he's going. I'm wondering where he's going right now.
I was thinking about this because on this morning, and it probably was in response to that news having come out, but they were talking about Michelle Obama. She was speaking to some group of young adults, and she was saying that people need to be very conscious and aware of how they use social media, and they shouldn't just tweet everything that comes to their mind, and then made it a point to say, I'm not speaking about anybody in particular. And then the lady that was doing the interview, I don't know who it was, also echoed, oh, yes, no, we're not talking about anybody in particular. So I thought that was very interesting.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then the audience was all laughing. Like, everybody immediately put Trump on that. The one good thing about Trump is he makes you forget about every other troll on the planet. But I was thinking about this, and Trump is like the ultimate troll. Imagine if Trump played World of Warcraft. He would be amazing.
I don't see that at all.
But the dark troll master.
He would be. I'd watch his YouTube channel all day.
All right. Well, but this kind of morphs into the next topic that I wanted to discuss, which was kind of along the same lines. Since we've gone into the realm of social media, I want to pose this question, lastly, before we have to get out of here tonight, about the internet. You know, the internet was billed as the information superhighway, and it was supposed to really facilitate the global village, where it brings everybody together, and everything you ever wanted to know is now accessible at your fingertips. You know,
I think some people do use it for that.
And anything, any question you ever wanted answered, you can go into Google or some other place on the web and find an answer. Okay.
And 99% of those questions are one word with a question mark.
But see,
porn question mark.
Here's the thing. So here's what I'm asking: has the internet actually made us smarter as a civilization, or is it making us dumber? Because you enter social media into the internet, the world of internet, and mostly what we're looking at, like 90% of it is pictures of cats doing things, and then people posting what they ate.
You know, I did hear something.
Somebody's chili that they put an egg on.
Yeah, that was a legit pic.
I mean, do we feel smarter or dumber now that the internet is?
I don't think that. Well, I think that people find their place on the internet. There are some people who are looking for their place that I think abuse the internet, but for people who kind of have figured out where it is they are, they use it when they need to. Like I don't spend a whole lot of time on it. Usually when I do, it's YouTube, and I have very specific things that I want. And I think the biggest risk, particularly with social media and with all of the AI and all that other stuff trying to feed you crap that they think you're interested in, is you end up in this echo chamber of one. So you end up with nothing but people like you, who think like you, who talk like you, who like things you like, and you're never exposed to anything different.
Well, in other words, we took the little cliques that used to hang out in high school, and we made it the social norm in general. Now you can take your clique with you when you leave high school and carry it with you for the rest of your life.
We've simultaneously made it larger and smaller at the same time, because theoretically it's larger because you can see a lot of people.
That's how Trump was elected, because people didn't realize, people on the coast were like, oh, this is a joke. But, not everybody thought like that. They were thinking they were watching their YouTube channels, their news channels that agree with them. And then all of a sudden they found out that, hey, it wasn't so much of a joke to everyone.
Yeah. And a lot of people were very serious about it. Serious all the way to the voting booth, driving 20 and 30 minutes in the dark, uphill, in the snow.
Well, Helen has chimed in and says that she believes the internet has made people dumber. Kelly is talking about fake news. I'm not sure what she's referring to with respect to that. I don't know if that has to do with the Twitter account or the current line of conversation. And somebody also said Trump for president.
I'm all down.
I think that's a very dangerous idea, personally.
You wouldn't have to have that gun control conversation anymore. I can tell you that.
Yeah, Todd would actually have to move to another country.
Nah, we can keep him as long as he keeps putting eggs and chili together.
Who doesn't appreciate that?
That's just good.
Well, you know what?
Eating.
As an interesting, another bit of food for thought, and discussing whether or not the internet is making us.
Good one.
Yeah, thank you.
With,
Me and my brain don't get along.
You have to find one. That one.
Whether it's making us smarter
where they're due.
or dumber, then there's this show, which is on the internet right now. Is this smarter or dumber?
That's the show?
Us. I'm saying, are we...
Oh!
Okay, I guess that answers that question. Wow. All right. Thanks, CJ. I appreciate that. Nobody
I was
even
totally
needs to
paying attention to
you
everything that was happening.
You were not paying attention. He's over there looking at porn.
No.
I thought I was just hanging out with my homeboys. Sorry.
Yeah.
Chevelle, do you know we're doing a show right now?
Right now?
Yes, literally right now.
Snap. How long have we been doing this?
Too long, evidently.
Now, you're like, oh man, this isn't the talk about chili hour? What's going on?
Guns and chili. That's pretty much, that would be Chump's platform, Guns and Chili.
That's going to be our next website, guys. Guns and Chili. It's going to be a picture of me and Todd. And you standing there in the middle with your little machine pressing drops.
All right. Well, it looks like we're pretty much running out of time here anyway. But, So
I don't think it's making us dumber.
You don't believe it's making us dumber?
No, I think it's making us lazy. I think it's making us incredibly lazy, and that by virtue of that laziness, we might be getting dumber. But I think that people are just getting dumber as a general rule.
Well, see, we were talking about this, and this really isn't so much to do with the internet as it is technology. But we've discussed on several occasions the fact that people don't remember phone numbers anymore because the phone does that for you. And then there was the discussion about how nobody has to use a map anymore because GPS has pretty much solved all of our problems, except for that left turn you shouldn't have took that caused you to drive into a ditch or off a cliff.
Or to another country.
Another country?
Yeah. You remember when MapQuest first came out? There was like that one place in Europe when you wanted to put between two cities. It was like a 20-mile drive, but they had you cross 3 bodies of water, go through like 5 borders in order to make that trip. I was thinking somewhere between France and Switzerland.
I got to say, I don't recall that at all, but then I don't do much driving around there, so it's
They
really
took
not
a
an issue.
20-mile trip and made it like a 3-day trip.
Wow.
You had to catch a ferry. You had to take an underground tunnel. It was crazy.
That's some bad map making. Or they were trying to avoid all the traffic.
Maybe. I don't know. No tolls. I don't know.
Todd, how about you? Do you feel smarter or dumber with the internet around?
Oh, definitely dumber. Come on, everybody has access to the information, but yeah, I don't know the information. I feel like just having the idea that the information is readily at hand, I'm like, yeah, I could know that, but I'm busy doing something right now. I'm gonna, I'll get to it later.
Kelly has something to say.
Yeah, somebody says you're definitely dumber.
There was an episode. I think it was. There's an episode, I think, of the new Twilight Zone that actually was that premise, where these people all had chips implanted in their heads. It was almost like the Matrix, where you could just download the information directly to your brain.
Okay.
And there was a central computer that basically just pumped all this stuff out. And there was one person, there's a birth defect where your body rejects the chip. So this one person couldn't get the chip, and he was the stupidest one in the whole area. And he had this room full of books that he actually had to read to learn all the stuff they just downloaded. And then the computer died. So then he was all of a sudden the smartest one in the room. And he had to teach them all how to read because they didn't actually know how to read. They didn't know the alphabet or any of that stuff. So it ended with him having to go through and teach them all this stuff. Old episode of the new Twilight Zone. I think the pre-Forrest Whitaker. There was that one that Forrest Whitaker was the host of. It was around that same era.
So what you're saying is that there's hope for us. At some point, we could be the smartest guys in the room.
Let's not get carried away.
It sounds like an episode of Black Mirror.
It does sound a lot like an episode of Black Mirror. Great series, by the way.
Wow. Okay. Well, all right.
Yeah.
This has been another exciting episode of Around Midnight. Todd, thanks for joining us it turned out to be most of the show, actually. We appreciate you calling in. Hope you get over that blue
flu. We didn't
flu.
get any more calls because he was on the phone the whole time.
Yeah.
Usually the phones are ringing off the hook, but thanks to Todd.
That's it, right. Blame Todd. Again, you can tweet Todd at Todd Fluker and let him know how upset you are that you couldn't call in on the show tonight. We'll be back next Friday night with yet more excitement and mayhem. Another quick shout out for the Malibu Film Festival, and don't forget that you can donate at MalibuFilmFestival.com/donate. That's MalibuFilmFestival.com/donate. For the local boys, Todd Fluker, Chevelle Devine, and myself, Joe Carbonetta, thanks a lot for joining us this evening. As always, please don't drink and drive, and remember to stay mixified.
Yeah, you shouldn't be driving and watching this show either, just for the record.
That's probably true. All right, we'll see you next Friday night. Stay mixified. I almost forgot. We actually have some very important information to disseminate.
We do?
Yeah. I just have to find it. We have that wonderful disclaimer that we're supposed to read.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't have to. Everything Chevelle says is law. Joe agrees with it 100%, and everyone should do exactly as he says if you want the world to be a better place. I think that's how that disclaimer goes.
Todd, what do you think about that?
I don't think Todd's there.
That sounds accurate.
Really? You're going to side with Chevelle on that?
Yeah, you're running out of clipboards.
I heard it on the internet, so obviously it's true.
If only that were true.
You seriously? You just went through like 5
There's
clipboards.
so many
What
clipboards.
are you doing?
All right. I think I found it.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, are you ready for the? Do you have it up there?
No, I don't.
Well, here it is. The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the host and do not necessarily reflect or represent those of Mixified, its producers, staff, or sponsors. That's right. To see if I didn't read this, Swift was going to be all over us.
Yes, he will.
All materials contained within the show are for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered advice or instruction of any kind.
Except for mine. That's definitely advice and instruction.
Yeah. All right. Now we're done. We'll see you next Friday
Way
night.
too many clipboards, man.